that is going on is sustainability,
Okay.
right? Uh, Clean energy.
Right.
Your product should be sustainable,
Right.
recyclable. So what's kicker? What kind of product that we use that having
Right.
social responsibilities, or in future we plan to cutting down the carbon footprint or something like that.
Right.
Such policies do we have?
The a number of things are actually government regulated for us.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say, like, for instance, the wood that we use in our speaker enclosures, it used to have formaldehyde in it. Okay, this is actually a preservative, and it makes the product better, but it's also poisonous, to people that are
Okay.
that are associated too closely with it, and so they had to stop putting that in that particular product. Um, Lead, for instance, now the soldering in our electronic components, that's regulated. It has to be a different product than just lead. Um, Also, let's see, like PVC, like in the wire that we use, and the coating that's on the wire, like the casing has a PVC in it, and you have to use warnings on that. So these are all, there's a lot of different things that we have to comply with already because they're government mandated. And so I think that's part of people being concerned about sustainability. Sometimes it's a little bit crazy. In other words, you would have to like eat the wire or something, to a whole bunch of it, to actually hurt you. But there is something in it that could cause that. But it would have to be a large amount, but still you have to put all the warnings on it and things like that. Styrofoam is something that is used in packaging a lot. We've eliminated all the styrofoam that we can. Some products have to have that. They're too heavy, too big to support without that. But most of our products are using a cardboard inside insert. When you have a heavy product in a box and it's shipped, how are you going to keep it from being damaged? And so generally styrofoam is the most effective way,
Mm-hmm.
but in a landfill it lasts longer, than like cardboard does, as far as like breaking down, things like that. And all the cardboard we get in, we recycle that. We recycle all the speakers that are returned to us. We send them to, right now we don't have a recycling company. We had a company that was recycling them. Finding somebody to recycle them is a challenge. Um, so right now we're just putting them in the trash, but if we're looking for somebody to recycle it because it has ceramic in it, which it's like pretty biodegradable, but iron, and so some people recycle it. But one of the problems with recycling is that it has to be cost effective for people to want to do it, and we have no way to recycle that ourselves. But and a lot of our speakers we actually rebuild, so it's reused as much as we can.
Yeah, that's a good strategy.
So yeah, there's certain things you can do. There's certain things that there's really not a good way to do it. And so I think as much as possible, we do that. But like I said, some of the bigger products, the only thing that really works is styrofoam. Part of it is just needing industries that are willing to try to recycle stuff. Like there was a startup at OSU that recycled styrofoam.
I think I heard of that.
Uh-huh. And we gave all our styrofoam to them, but they kind of went out of business. The problem is, it's like you're a supply chain guy. You understand if you have a business that relies on recycled materials, if your supply of recycled materials dries up, you have no business. And so that's what happened. Is that where can we find styrofoam? Well, they had to drive around and find people that had styrofoam, but if their business is slow, they have no styrofoam, and so it was the supply chain was was very sporadic, and it was hard to connect with it. And so I think that was the problem, but it was a great idea. They used it in housing insulation because it's a good insulator.
Okay, yeah. So that's
There's
why you
challenges in recycling,
put it there. And
but I mean, I'm all for it, but sometimes you just can't do it.
and USA is sending much of its recycling or waste is to China because they can do it there better.
They don't want it anymore.
They don't want it anymore. China don't want it anymore.
They used to send all this cardboard because everything that comes in from China
Mhm.
comes in cardboard.
It is.
It's all of it's in cardboard. And so, so now you've got container ships going back to China empty, right? Because there's a lot more imports than exports to China.
Yeah.
So they would put this used cardboard in to send it back to China for recycling. Well, the problem is that recycling has a lot of waste and a lot of pollution that comes from the recycling process, reworking that. And a lot of the cardboard and things come back, like a pizza box comes back, it has half a pizza in it. Well, you can't recycle half a pizza. Somebody's got to open that up, take it out, so it was causing more pollution. Now China's they're trying to cut back on pollution. So this is what I've heard, is that now they're not taking back US cardboard from the US anymore. So what happened is that raised the cost of packaging from China to us because they were using that recycled material to make more cardboard to send back here. And then the government said, you can't have these emissions, from these recycling plants. And so they said, we don't want it. So it's just to say that recycling is a challenge, and it does cost money. And so I think it's something that over time maybe we'll get better at doing, but